Hello everyone. So this week's quite an exciting week because we're going to be getting quite a lot of work done on our land in order to make it a more livable, more comfortable, more enjoyable place to be. So we're going to get some groundworks done, some organisation on the land. In the past 3 years, or maybe more, since owning the land, we've had lots of plans, lots of ideas. Those have changed quite a lot. We had somebody come over a week ago to give us some advice about the land and how we would be better off using it. We've decided to take that advice and we're going to go with that. So that happens this week, and we wanted to take you along with us to show you how that's going to progress. So what I'll do first, just to try and get a little bit of an idea, it's very difficult when you're looking at our land from ground level, how everything looks, how it all pans out, trying to get an idea of where you're standing in relation to another part of the land. So I'll show you on this whiteboard here and try and explain a little bit about how our land looks from above. So our land at the moment is about 2 acres and it's on a hill. And the hill comes, as all hills do, from the top down to the bottom. What we've always done is thought about our land in 3 sections. In the top half of our land, which is where we were going to spend most of our time and our energy and our thoughts, this is where our olive trees are. And we have about 18 olive trees there. The middle section of our land here, this is where our well is. And it's pretty much got some young pine trees and quite a lot of scrub. And this bottom part of our land, we hadn't really thought very much about it up until now, but we've had some advice, and this bottom part of the land is where we seem to have a lot of the water. There's a lot of moss down that part of the land and a lot of green growth. So that suggests that that's where all the water is. So we have now changed our mind from using the top, and we're now going to use the bottom as our main growing area. Also at the bottom of the land, just at the bottom here, we have some nice fruit trees, cork oaks, and just nice looking trees. This is a nice little area where you can see all the water would come all the way down the hill, and this is a very fertile space. Beautiful trees just down the bottom. Our plan now is to get this middle section cleared. Not fully cleared, but tidally cleared. And we're going to utilise this bottom area here now for our growing. And in this bottom area here, we're going to be putting a pond somewhere around there. And we're going to be using these areas here as our growing spaces for raised beds, for vegetables, whatever that might be. And in order for us to be able to get from the top of our land down to the bottom of our land, we're also going to put in a driveway, or cut in a driveway, which will come down to here, and come down to here like this, to a parking space here. So we can access our land from the top, drive down and park there, and do our gardening in this area, and have this lovely little area here of fruit trees, etc. We're also, because we're going to be putting the pond here, we are going to be cutting some swales in so that the water will flow down and flow in to the pond. And this is already sloping, but I believe from the advice that we've had, we're also going to put some terraces in this middle section as well, just to keep the flow of the water going down into the pond and trying to collect as much water as we can. So that's the plan for this week. We have the digger arriving shortly, so we'll get up the land and take you with us. So here we are up on our land now, and just waiting for the digger to arrive. Elaine's getting on with trimming down some of the olive trees, well, the excess growth at the base of the olive trees. So make them look a little bit tidier. And yeah, as I said, we're just waiting now for the digger to arrive. I can show you a little bit just about the top area here, and where our little entrance is, or where our entrance is going to be. So I'll just take you over there a little bit. Just down this way, this is on the side of our land, or on the edge, on the right hand side edge of our land. As you can see, it's very overgrown when you get close up to it. A lot of trees, a lot of plants. But this is where we're going to be making the road down to the bottom. Now, as you can see, there is already this trench or gully going all the way down. You can almost follow the line going down there through the trees. So that's a natural water runoff from the top of the land, and we hope that possibly we could use that to channel the water down to the bottom of the land. I don't know if you can just make out about here. There's a taller pine tree, and that's exactly the point of our well. And as you can see, that pine tree is growing really well, because there should be a source of water there, although our water in our well is non-existent at the moment. So that's the plan, is to make a roadway through this way here, to get our car down to the bottom a little bit further down there. So just turning around and looking at the top of the land, we can see our olive trees. And I think from this view you can also see how it slants down quite considerably. You can imagine just the water runoff from there. Well, that's a little bit of a shock. That's like it's like one of those haircuts that you kind of hope it's going to grow back. I can already see this starting to take shape. It's starting to look really good. Strangely, starting to look really good already. I think it's because I can see the potential in it now. I struggled quite a lot before to see the potential because it's just huge. Well, it's vast from my perspective anyway. It's, as I said, about 2 acres, but that's a lot of work for 2 people. So to have this infrastructure in place, being built for us, costing a little bit of money, not too bad though, it's okay, it's worth it. That little bit of infrastructure in place feels good. So the idea is to make this pathway go down into that, and then to channel the water down to the bottom of our land. But yeah, it's looking really good already, within like about 5 minutes. And how did you get back up to the top of the land without me seeing you? Oh, you came round that way.
Oh, the track, yeah. Found one. Do you remember? I think it was the first time we went down. We found one of the marker stones near the bottom. One of the straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marker
I've
stone.
just spotted it now that we can actually get down there.
Now that it's clearer.
I've just seen it again. So.
Very good.
So I think what Jacques has said is right about where the boundaries are now that we can see the markers again.
Excellent.
But that was quick, wasn't it? Knife through butter.
Simple.
Yeah, just zoomp.
And done. So work has begun in earnest. So coming down that track that I was showing you a little bit earlier, and then coming around here we have our first little area made. This is where we're going to be having our car parking space. Just here it's a nice little flat area, and then coming down this will be our garden area down here, and a little bit further down here, down this track which is already made. This is where we're going to be having our pond and our fruit growing section. Well, fruit growing is down the bottom here. You can probably see there's some nice trees down there interspersed between the scrub. We have some nice oak trees over there and pine trees, etc, etc. This one here is a fruit tree, which is really nice. I think that's a fruit tree just there too. And then coming up here, just a little space back up again, a couple of feet up, is where our parking area will be, just in here. So it looks really rough and ready at the moment, but I could already see things starting to come into place, which is really exciting. So I'm just having another wander down now. We've just had our lunch, and Jacques has mentioned that he's marked out what would be our lake, or potentially be our lake at the bottom. He's also made this road area a little bit wider as well. So we're being he's also mentioned that he's being very conservative or careful with the trees that he takes out. If there are any trees, he avoids them, particularly the olive trees or the cork oaks. So we're trying to save as many of those trees as possible. Obviously there's going to be the odd one or two that may have to go. Jacques did mention that there was a cork oak and an olive, and one of them will have to go. Probably the olive, in all honesty. So yeah, we're just trying to be a little bit careful about what we are getting rid of, and trying to keep as much of the natural ground as we can. So I'm just having a wander down anyway, just to have a look and see what is marked out as potentially being our pond area, or our huge water collection area. Let's go and have a look. So so again, coming down what's going to be our main driveway, all the way down there, going to our little parking space there, where we're going to be having our camper and our little wood burner and our decking. We're going to set that there, and then coming down a little bit further down, not too far, so this area here. Hello everyone. So it's been a couple of days since we've been up the land. We've been busy getting a couple of cars. That's a long story and maybe one for another day, but we've succeeded. So now we've got a car that we need to get us around Portugal. And whilst we've been doing that, Jacques has been here sorting out the land for us. So I'm going to have a nip down now and have a look and see where we're at. We have obviously popped back on an evening, but I've never shown you guys. As I said, it's been a few days, but it's quite a lot different to what it was. We now have our roadway built. I say roadway built, it's at least dug through. I may as well nip through and just show you that while I'm standing here. Whoops. So yeah, so this is our roadway, which I've driven up and down a couple of times. It looks a little bit steep, but actually it's pretty good. So this in the centre here is just land clearing, really, all the way down this centre. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a walk down the pathway or the roadway, and we'll have a look to see what's going on down there. So just taking you on down. And this is our little drive down into where our van is and where we are going to be, I don't know, this is where we're going to be doing our gardening and stuff like that really. Maybe keeping a few chickens, not really sure yet, haven't really decided, still early days. But yeah, coming down into this little area here. Now, just here, this is something we haven't seen for a while. This is our well. So I think I've said previously, it doesn't seem to be any water in there, but still a very pretty well. We will get that covered, or at least fenced off. It is fenced off a little bit, but we'll make sure that that's even safer. That'll be a priority. And it was really nice that Jacques kept this tree here. There's a little cork oak there that he's kept. I think that's a cork oak next to our, oh no, it's a pine, that's a pine. But yeah, but it still looks nice. He's done a really good job of keeping a lot of the trees. And then this is our flat area that is made for keeping our van on, and this is where we're going to be building the decking. We're going to have a nice decking around this area here, and going down, and then we have a slant drops down here and goes into our pond area, which is getting dug at the moment. I'm not sure if the scale of the pond comes across on camera here, but it's going to be quite huge actually, quite a lot bigger than I anticipated or even thought about, and quite a lot deeper as well. But it is going to be our main source of water for the land, really. Be really nice if we hit a natural spring under there somewhere. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean there is water, or there was water down there, because we have a well not very far, just up the way here, so there has been water not far down, so that would be lovely. But it's more likely to be that we're going to be channeling the water down our hill. Basically, we're going to be channeling the water all the way down, and channeling it when it rains into this pond here. The idea at some point then is, once this pond is full, we then pump the water from this pond and we pump it back up the top of the land and store it up the top. But that's going to be a job for another time, because our budget doesn't really allow for that at the moment. We have other plans to be getting on with. So, but that's a future plan at least.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we hit a water spring here, because the ground is sediment of iron and sediment of sand being brought by water. So the water obviously running at some point underneath the ground here. So if it's not gone too low, we hit it now.
Wow.
That means you might get water in the summer. The guy done a borehole here, and there's a well done in the same line over there.
Ah.
Will make a logic of water running. Plus this kind of valley.
Yeah.
It's an ice-aged valley, because when I'm hitting down below the surface, it's a boulder been pushed by ice millions of years ago. So on below that is a sedimentation where the rock is rotten by being stuck in water.
Right.
And that's generally a sign where if it's stuck in water, that means it's permanently water. And below, I haven't touched the rock bottom, it's a case of saying it, because it must be below that, it must be like a rock, block of rock, making bottom rock, but we haven't got to that yet, and I don't plan to go to that because it can be very deep. But at the moment have like a sedimentation with rotten rock, sand, and some of clay, and mainly a lot of iron been pushed through, so that's been carried by water, and recent water. So, and it's humid, it's very humid.
Yeah.
It's almost like a wet cement.
Right.
So if it's wet, it's water.
Excellent.
The question is what volume, God knows.
Yeah.
And here we're probably about the same depth than the bottom of the well with a
okay
declivity.
That's where we are at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that will be the maximum we go, because otherwise you can see the different layer. You have the kind of surface soil, then you have that rocky gravel with a lot of boulders who's been formed by been pushed by ice, and then you have should be schist in formation, but it turned grey because it turned to be a sand, because that's caused by the water rotting the formation.
Well, there we are. It's a possibility that we could get water in the summertime. Again, we haven't hit it yet, as Jacques has been saying there, but the signs are looking quite good. So yeah, I'll just allow him to just keep digging. As he said there, he's dug to the depth of the well because we're on a slant. So he's now dug to the depth of that, which is absolutely fantastic. That's probably why we haven't got water in our well yet. He just needs to go just that little bit deeper maybe. But yeah, if we can hit a spring, or something and have water in the summer, well, that'll be exciting, that's for sure.
See, it's sand, and that's alluvium sand.
Oh yeah.
And that is rust from iron.
Right. It looks damp as well.
And it's damp. It's
damp.
like if you feel it.
Yeah, it's like
clay.
Yeah.
But it's not clay. It's sand.
And it's actually damp.
It's damp.
So
it's full of water. Yes.
There.
And it's not because it's been raining.
It's
not been raining. So
wow.
if there's water there, it's water below.
Yeah.
So here is even damper. You can see by the mark of the teeth. Normally you see sometimes like a little water forming in a mark of the teeth of the digger, but I didn't see so far.
Okay.
But I'm expecting at some point. Is water here?
It's here, but it's just a case of finding it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I can smell it, I can feel it. But same at my farm, I keep digging lakes.
Yeah.
And my wife never understands why I get water every time.
Right.
So I don't know, I know it's there.
You just know it's there, yeah.
My uncle used to looking for, even for people, with like 2 sticks, looking for water.
Yeah.
I can do the stick, they will move. But
yeah.
I can also, I know where, I can feel where the water is. Just
a sense that you have.
I can feel. I can't say exactly, but I know it's nearby.
So that's where we think the water is.
Yeah, it should be water. But the problem is I don't know what depth. So it might be deeper than that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to.
No, we'll see.
I mean, I can go deeper, but.
Yeah, but the water level, the water under the ground will adjust.
Will rise. Yes.
Yeah, will rise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, by the time that volume is filled up, you should have. I mean, you'll have to look through the first year to see how it react. If everything disappears after the winter, you will have to put a membrane.
Yeah, right.
But if it's stabilized.
So you don't think this needs sand and a membrane even at this moment?
No, because if it's spring, the membrane will cover the spring.
Yeah, of course.
So late 1 or 2 winter going over.
Right.
To see how it react. Because as well, sometimes the first year, the water fill up, the alluvium will, the water if it springs, is like a line of water. So it's coming in one end and coming out in the other. Right. But the alluvium will block the output.
Yeah, okay.
By themselves. So sometimes it's better to wait 2 full seasons.
Right.
To have 2 full circle, 2 years, to have the full spectrum of how it react.
Okay.
And if really the water don't stay, then to decide, okay, we put a membrane and just accumulate it.
Yeah. Okay. But this will also be collecting water from there anyway.
Yes, and from all the surface raining.
And that should, yeah.
That's why the fact to be at the bottom, you collect everything from your land.
Perfect. This is brilliant.
From one rib to the other one, everything coming down that way will come here.
Yeah. You can see that just by the way that the land lies, can't you?
Yes.
You can just see the way that it works, that it will all just come all the way.
That's why I choose here.
That's why you chose here. That's why we said we wanted to do it at the top, and you said no. Brilliant. Okay. So that's Jacques away for the weekend now, and he's got his labourer doing a bit of work for us tomorrow, doing a bit more clearing. So So yeah, work's not going to stop this weekend apparently. But yeah, so this weekend we're probably going to have a little bit of a chill time, I think. But the land is coming along amazingly. Really pleased. Actually, I've just talked through with Jacques about putting some swales on the way down the hill to collect water that we can, again use, or collect water in little troughs, to put trees in or whatever it might be. Yeah, it's looking really, really good. Okay. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, because it's been a little bit here, a little bit there, then we were away for 2 days and all of that sort of thing. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it a day on this video. We'll pick up next week's land regeneration, renovation in the next video, I think, because I think there's going to be a lot more excitement happening there. Potentially we might even hit water, which, as Jacques said earlier, we could even have water then in the middle of summer, which would just be pretty amazing. So that's it. So we'll call it a day. Thank you very much again for joining us on this video, and we will see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.